I'm covered in books. You know, that's a dream. Book. Book. Book, book. Hi guys. It's me. That was lame. Hi guys. So, in 2024, I made it a goal to read at least 25 books. And I've accomplished my goal. And here you are at my 2024 book rating. All 32 books that I've read this year, I am going to rate them out of a 5 stars, and I'm going to say if I recommend them or not. We're going to try to hyper speed this through. On my TikTok, I did a little bit more lengthy reviews for every month, the books that I read in those months, so go check that out if you want to check that out. Or if there's any books that you genuinely want to know, like my reasoning behind the rating, or you want to know my thoughts on it, ignore any noise that you hear. We have company over. I forgot it's the end of the year and I wanted to make this, so it's a little bit last minute. People just won't let me film it. Anyways, please, if you like to hear any of my thoughts, or if you just like these book videos, because I love books, comment down below. I'll make more content. Okay, I got my pen and paper, because I was breaking down everything I read because I really couldn't keep up with it. There's a lot. Let's get into the book rating. Interjecting real quick to make a quick disclaimer. These books range from different age ranges. Some of these books have adult content in them. I myself am an adult. So if you is a child, I don't endorse you reading certain content, but also I am not your parent, so I really don't care. You've been warned that some of these may not be age appropriate. Number 1 that I finished, City of Lost Souls. I rate this a 5 out of 5 stars. Loved it. And yes, highly recommend it. I will say this is the 5th book of the Mortal Instruments series. So you might want to read the series before you just jump into book 5. Things won't make sense, but in the grand scheme of the series, 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. Book 2, The Final Gambit, the 3rd book of the Inheritance Games series. I rate this a 3 out of 5. Do I recommend it? Yes, if you were a fan of the other books. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when I'm a fan of a series, I make it a point to finish the series. But out of the main 3 books, this was a 3 stars. I liked it a little bit less than the other ones. It was still good though, and it still wrapped it up pretty nicely. Book number 3 I finished was this little Happily Ever After, which is a collection of short stories within the Selection series. I rate this a 4 out of 5, and I recommend it if you're a fan of the Selection series. Do I think you could go without it and still enjoy the series? Yes, this was just fun. Next up is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I rate this a 4 out of 5 stars, and yes, I recommend it. I actually liked the book more than the movie. I highly enjoyed it. Read it. Next up is Shadow Kiss, and I decided to rate this a 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend it. It is the 3rd book in the Vampire Academy series, so you might have to, read the series first. I like this one a lot. 5 out of 5 stars. Ignore the howling dogs. Yeah, so good. This really started kicking up the series for me. Next on the list is Allegiant. 0 out of 5. Do not recommend. Knew it had a bad rep, but I had to finish the series, and I regret it. Next up was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I decided to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Do I recommend it? Maybe. Okay, I understand how the fans didn't like it, but if you just take it at face value, just take it for what it is. Just go into it with an open mindset of enjoyment It's enjoyable, and I really want to actually see like the stage production, like really bad. Hopefully next year. Next up, City of Heavenly Fire. 5 out of 5 stars. Yes, I recommend it. The last book of the Mortal Instruments series. Best book. Next up, The Kill Order. I gave this one a 3 out of 5. Yes, I recommend it if you're a fan of the Maze Runner series and want to know like more in depth of the universe. It's good, but I wouldn't give it that much just because, I don't know, I was a little bit depressed after reading it. Not gonna lie. Next up, The Nanny. This is a 1 star out of 5. No, I do not recommend it. Anyways, only liked half of it. Kinda bland, kinda stereotypical, kinda did nothing for me. So no, personally, I do not recommend it. The Last Olympian. 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely recommend it. I love the Percy Jackson universe. I love the Percy Jackson books. Good soup. Restore Me. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 stars, and yes, I do recommend it. Love the Shadow Me series, one of my favorite series ever. It's got a 4 out of 5 stars because it was just a little bit not as much as my favorite book out of all of them. But I still really loved it. And I love the series, I love the characters, I love everything about it. The 100, or the 100, I don't know which is the right way to say it. 3 out of 5 stars, I do recommend it. It was enough for me to want to keep reading it, so that's why it gets a 3, because it wasn't like the most amazing book, but it was still a good, it was decent. The Last Magician. 5 out of 5 stars. Yes, recommend. 100% recommend. I cannot tell you how much I love this. So good. Next up, How Does It Feel? This gets a 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend it. Very enjoyable. It just got docked a star because it took like 9 chapters for anything to actually start happening. But yeah, definitely recommend. Really loved it, actually. Surprisingly, I wasn't thinking I was gonna love it that much. Next up, this is the combination novella. So yes, it does say Find Me, but the only one I read was Shadow Me. This gets a 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the series. Like, if you're a fan of the series, read the novellas, bro. It gives so much insight into all their characters. Love it. Eat it up every time. Oh. Next up, I read the Demigod Files. They're little short stories. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars, but honestly, I don't really recommend it. I mean, if you're a fan of Percy Jackson, yeah, sure, go ahead, because they're fun little stories, but it's not really needed. Next up, King of Wrath. 5 out of 5 stars. 100% recommend it. Loved every minute, every second, every chapter of it. Loved it. Read it. The Island. 1 out of 5 stars. I do not recommend it. I found it boring. That's why I read it so fast, because it was just dragging you along, trying to think that there was something like interesting, and then there was nothing really interesting. It was just like a slasher little thing. I don't know. It felt young and not in like a good way like Percy Jackson. You really don't need it. You're not missing nothing if you don't read it. Sorry. Alright, next up, Clockwork Angel. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I definitely recommend it. I love the entire Shadowhunter universe. So all the book series in it, I'd eat them up. King of Battle and Blood. 5 out of 5 stars. 100% recommend. The hottest book I've read this year. But also with that, such a great storyline, such a great magic system, just... The Lost Hero. This gets a 4 out of 5 stars, and I definitely recommend it. Like I've said, love the Percy Jackson universe, and this is a new journey. The Heir. This gets a 3 out of 5. I would recommend it if you are a fan of the Selection series. You don't have to read it, honestly. It's just kind of like the next generation. It just didn't hit as like good as the original like trilogy. That's why I got docked. Still good, still worth it if you like the universe. If you're just casual about it, you can honestly skip it if you want to. That's just in my opinion. The drama wasn't as high. Alright, next up, Hearts Still Beating. I give this a 4 out of 5. Yes, I have to write it down. I read a lot of books, guys. I'm on it. This gets a 4 out of 5, and I do recommend it. Do I think it was such a like romance as it was advertising itself to be? No. It's more of a drama. So that's why it gets a 4 out of 5. But it was very interesting. It was a different way of looking at zombies. I love the way it's written. I love the point of views. I enjoyed it. Next, Butcher and Blackbird. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I do recommend it. It was different. It was a good time. There was some hype on the internet that kind of like messed with my expectations a little bit. I would say overhyped my expectations, but that's a story for another day. That was just a personal opinion on why it was a 4 out of 5. I do recommend it though. The Paris Apartment. I'm giving this one also a 4 out of 5. If you haven't gotten the trend already, most of these books I'm saying yes to. Most of these books are a 4 out of 5. It was a nice little murder mystery and something a little interesting, you know? I don't really usually, yes, read mysteries. So it was a nice little something new. I feel like I'm doing these uneven. Some of them I'm just doing like, yes, this amount of stars. And some of them I'm giving a little bit more of an explanation. Honestly, I'm pretty tired right now. And I don't know what I'm saying. Again, if you would like to hear more of my opinion on any of these books or any books in the future, comment down below. Yeah. Next book was loaned to me, so I do not have the physical copy with me anymore, but it was The Redemption of Althalis. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce it. That's just how I've been pronouncing it. I give this book a 2.5 out of 5, and I was trying not to give 0.5s, but I genuinely could not make a decision between 2 stars or 3 stars. Do I recommend it? Maybe. Characters amazing. Too much telling and not showing. Needed to be cut in half. Needed to be simplified. Characters so good though, and that made it so I could read it. That made me get through the book because I like the characters. But writing style, Up next, The Brothers Hawthorne. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm docking it specifically because the way the point of view switched was freaking annoying. Otherwise, I really liked it and I enjoyed it, and I love the Inheritance game series. So do I recommend it? Yes, I recommend it. I don't care what the internet said about against this book. I loved it. So yes, I do recommend it if you want to continue the Inheritance games books past the 3rd book, because this one actually sets up a lot of stuff and it's actually, I feel like it's pretty important. Next up is Lightlark. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. Do I recommend it? Maybe. Honestly, a lot of people talked about the writing style and I kind of just glanced over that because I really didn't care. I don't know why I gave it a maybe. I gave it a maybe because you can either like it or you can dislike it. I could see both point of views. Personally, I'm gonna continue on with the other books because it was a 4 out of 5, so it was enough to get me to keep going. But I could see why people would not want to. Filthy Rich Vampire. This is getting a 2 out of 5 stars, and personally, I do not recommend it. I was bored with it. Kind of dragged a little. Very much more of a romance than a fantasy romance. Not my top book. Next up, Clockwork Prince, number 2 of the Infernal Devices series. We already mentioned number 1, and like the other one, I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. And yes, I do recommend it because I really did enjoy it. There was just some things that I was like, on the docket. Didn't hit as good as those Mortal Instruments ones, but still really like it. Still will recommend it. Yeah. And the last book that I read this year that I fully completed was Leather and Lark. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I do recommend it. Read Butcher and Blackbird first before you read this. That is important, or otherwise you'll be a little bit confused. But I do recommend it. Low-key, I think I like this one a little bit more than Butcher and Blackbird, even though I rated them the same. I think I like this one more. I think it read better. That is my video. Thank you for watching. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. I am a nerd of books, always have been, always will be. I am going to set a new goal for the new year, and I'm going to read more because I genuinely love reading and it makes me so happy. Hope you guys like my recommendations. Hope it helped you out if you needed help on books, or if you just enjoyed it. That's dope. I love you. Like, share, subscribe. Never know when I'm gonna post next. This wasn't even planned until like a couple months ago. And again, like I said, if you ever want any more on books, and my opinion on books, and anything like that, comment down below. Thank you so much. Everyone have a good year. Love you all. New year of new videos. Let's do this. Bye!